Welcome to the non-woo-woo manifestation guide. How to actually manifest healthy love and stop attracting emotionally unavailable people. Did you know that you're already manifesting every single day, even when you don't mean to, or even when you don't believe in manifestation, like I didn't? You have manifested the avoidant partner who pulls away the second you get close, the text you overthink for 3 hours while they forget to reply at all, or the job where you always give 200% and feel invisible anyway. Manifestation runs on autopilot, no matter if you're putting all of the pictures on your vision boards, saying the affirmations every day in the mirror, or even if you're trying to get away from what you have manifested already. Manifestation is also the reason why you're attracted to the same kind of guy all the time, even though he's in a different body. My clients come to me all the time saying, I'm attracted to the same pattern, the same person all over again, even though he comes in a different body. Like the emotionally unavailable guy, even though you're trying so hard to find the secure, healthy guy who has all of the green flags. Why? Because your brain and body are trained to recreate what feels familiar from your childhood, not what feels good. By the way, hi, I'm Yula. I'm the Anxious to Secure coach, and welcome to the Anxious to Secure podcast. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist or doctor. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or heal any mental health condition. If you're in an abusive relationship or dealing with severe mental health challenges, always seek professional advice. I grew up with a realistic mom and a physicist as a dad who believed positive thinking was a joke, who wanted to stay safe and thought negative thinking was a way of protecting himself. So I'm not a spiritual person either. I used to roll my eyes at manifestation until I went into the neuroscience and the psychology behind it and actually understood what manifestation actually means. And I realized manifestation isn't magic, it's not magical thinking, it's mental conditioning. It's the science how your thoughts, emotions, and focus literally shapes your life. It's actually all subconscious mind and nervous system work. Today we're breaking this all down. No fluff, just brain-based reality. The promise for you after this episode is to know exactly what manifestation actually is and how it works. You will know exactly the fake advice from TikTok and online when someone tells you, I manifested all of this after the end of the year. They've just created this vision board and everything became magically true, and which is completely BS because manifestation doesn't work with a timeline. And you will know exactly how to attract love that is safe, healthy, and secure step by step. So what is manifestation really? Manifestation is turning your thoughts into reality, not by dreaming, but by what you believe, what you focus on, how you feel, and what actions you take or don't take. It's my SPEAK model in short. S stands for situation, P for perception, so your thoughts you're having, E for emotion, A for action, and K for key result. So your brain is the tool that makes this all work. This SPEAK model helps you to realize that our thoughts that have a huge impact on our result in the end. Not the situation, not the circumstances we're in, not how many times your partner texted you, but our thoughts on how you see the world. And then by using your thoughts, it creates your emotions then create your actions, and then your actions create the key results. And this is kind of one of my manifestation formulas because this is based on CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and this is extremely powerful. If you realize, hey, you know what? You have the power to create change in your relationship, change in your world by starting with your thoughts, which will have a huge impact on your emotions, on your actions, and on your results, not just by sitting, hoping, dreaming, waiting, but by knowing how each of these elements play together and not just hoping, oh, why does my partner not do more? Why isn't the world different? Why is it raining today? These are all circumstances you can't control, but these other elements you can control. And by writing down the SPEAK model and filling out your pieces of these puzzles, what is your situation? What is your thought? What is your emotion? What is your action? And what is then the results you can create, you become more of a creator of your life. I teach my clients much more in depth how to use the speak model to your advantage in your relationships, for your relationship anxiety, and how to create a secure attachment style with this. But today you need to know though, your brain can't tell the difference between what is real and what is actually imagined. So when you, as an anxious attacher, visualize this over and over again, being rejected, being broken up with, being abandoned, my partner and I started watching Dr. House recently. He kind of convinced me. And every time there is a scene where his team is operating someone, I can't watch it. No matter how many times my partner tells me, oh, it's just fake blood, it's not real, I feel disgusted. I literally can't watch any of these scenes. So my brain can't tell the difference if this is real or not. So I have to close my eyes and cover myself. So your nervous system and your brain and your body reacts in the same way. So whenever you think, what if my partner leaves? What if my partner breaks up with me? What if he breaks my heart? What if he won't be there for me in bad times? You're manifesting these moments more and more, not by envisioning this once, but through repetition. The stronger the emotion, the anxiety, the fear, the doubt is, the more your brain thinks it's happening actually right now. And then the more you take aligned actions subconsciously. You might scan your partner for signs of mood swings, meaning you're hypervigilant. You doubt what he says when he stays later at work. You press him for answers, or you press him to say, I love you. More and more, you want more reassurance, you need more validation, and so on. That's what I used to do. And this pushes them more and more away, and it will make you feel insecure and your partner as well, and it creates this distrust in your relationship. And in the end, yes, it will create the self-fulfilling prophecy. He will most likely leave, or she or they. They will break up with you. They will not be there for you, because this is what you have created subconsciously. And it's not your fault, but we can change this. We can manifest what we actually want. So what you can do here is start taking inventory. Write down all the triggers in your relationships, then notice the thoughts you have about it. A trigger could be whenever your partner comes late from work. Any inconsistencies in his behavior could be a trigger for you. Write down first all of the triggers, then write down your thoughts you're having about these triggers. Remember, from the speak model, S is the situation, meaning that's a trigger for you. And then P is your point of view. That is the meaning you give to the situation, to the trigger. Just because your partner stays later for work, it doesn't mean anything about him or his commitment or how much he loves you. After you write down your thoughts, these are all of the emotions that were created by your thoughts. And then you also want to list down all of your actions you're taking, because you will realize a pattern. You will realize these thoughts are creating your emotions creating your actions, and then it created a ripple effect down to your results, what you have manifested. And by realizing this and taking inventory, you are able to change it later and become much more aware of it. Because a lot of times what we do is we're trying to take different actions, but changing your behavior right away is much more harder than to start with our beliefs and thoughts and why we're doing the action behind it, rather than working on the action itself. That's the reason why you have to text your partner lots of times. It's the reason why you need this reassurance. You are always manifesting, whether you're meant to or not. You have a RAS, a reticular activating system. This filters out 99% of data. It shows you only what you've told your brain is important, because you can't focus on all of the things at the same time. So there was a study that showed that people who believed they were lucky noticed a $20 note on the ground a few meters further. The other group, who said they were not feeling lucky, missed it, at least to a huge percentage. And there was another study who proved this as well. People focusing on counting jump ropes, had to count how many times this person was jumping. And I did this myself. I watched this video. It's online on YouTube somewhere. After the end, people kind of able to guess the number roughly right. But when they were asked, did you notice the person in the elephant costume walking around in the background? Most of the people did not notice this. And I didn't notice the guy either. And even I think I watched the same experiment years later and I forgot about the experiment and about the whole thing. And again, I missed the elephant in the room again. So this proves that we can only focus on a few things at the same time. And we only focus on what's important and what we also believe in. So what you focus on, you see. So if you believe all of the good partners are taken, you'll miss the secure ones at the bar. If you believe life is chaotic, you'll keep finding the drama and you'll be attracted to it and you miss out on the good parts. If you believe your partner will cheat, you will always find signs of inconsistencies and why he hasn't put enough love and care into your relationship and why there's something off in your relationship. If you feel like you're not good enough, you will keep attracting people who treat you like that. And also you will find more pieces of evidence why you are not good enough. If you believe you have to work hard to be chosen, you will keep chasing harder. If your normal is this hot and cold relationship, you will mistake intensity for intimacy. If you expect to be left eventually, you will pick up people who will confirm this story. And if being ignored feels familiar, you will ignore the red flags and call it chemistry. So your ass is like the security guard of the club in your mind. It only lets in thoughts and people that matches your beliefs and what you focus on. You don't just see the world, you filter it. So find out what core beliefs are yours. You can do this by checking out what triggers you have again, like when someone ghosted you or your partner is having deeper conversations with your friend at a night out, or the fact that your partner seems to be zoned out when you have a conversation with him. Then ask, what is the meaning you are adding to this story, to the situation? So in short, what am I making this mean when my partner is doing X, Y, and Z? When my partner is not paying attention to me, not prioritizing me, spending his night on his phone versus having a conversation. When my partner is being on his phone and not paying attention to me. What am I making this mean about myself, about the relationship, about us? And the more you keep asking this question about the same trigger, you will usually end up realizing I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of love, people will leave me, I'm afraid of being left, I'm afraid of being hurt, and you'll be left with your core belief, with your deep down wound, with your thing that is underneath the thoughts, the surface level thoughts. And then write down this belief somewhere and say, this is the last day I'm going to believe this. Cross it out and say, I'm no longer going to believe I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I'm too much, people will leave me, I don't deserve love. Everything now on, you are building up evidence, a folder to prove this belief wrong more and more. Because right now you still believe this. A belief is just a thought you think over and over again. So right now you want to prove this wrong with more and more pieces of evidence. We can't do this overnight. We have to do this with repetition and proof and evidence. So you can do this with the journal. You fill up this journal. Why you're lovable, why you're good enough, why people who really meant to be in your life will stick around, and why you are able to handle breakups and challenges and ups and downs. Your comfort zone is manifesting for you. So your subconscious loves the familiar, even if the familiar sucks. It's much less scary to date someone who breadcrumbs you versus to date someone who gives you real intimacy, to be vulnerable with someone. It's much easier to even say, oh, you always do this wrong, versus to say, oh, I feel really disconnected and lonely when this is happening, or I miss you, versus to say, I need you to do this for me. Why? Your inner child was raised on breadcrumbs, on hot and cold behaviors, on inconsistencies. So a 5-course menu, a feast, feels very suspicious and weird and strange and new. Hot and cold feels like home. Think about it like this. If you grew up with love that came from conditions, if you had to perform or shrink or to earn affection, then unpredictability is what your nervous system seems as normal. So even when healthy love shows up, even through friendships or colleagues or a new guy you're dating, calm, consistent availability can feel like boring, fake, or even unsafe. This is your nervous system only trying to say, hey, something feels off, but that off is actually healthy, it's new, it's the new comfort zone you want to build if you want to actually create healthy, secure relationships and love. And this is called the familiar pain loop, where your subconscious picks up what's painful but predictable over what's unfamiliar but healing. So your brain is on autopilot here. And neurons that fire together, wire together. That means every time you feel panic when rejection is happening, at the same time, your brain is like, oh, these two things, they go together. Let me save this in my folder. It's like a playlist you keep on playing on repeat over and over again. So the next time someone pulls away and doesn't text you back or seem distant, your brain is instantly, let me play this song again. It's like I'm being abandoned, something is wrong, it's happening again. It's becoming like a reflex. You don't choose that reaction. Your nervous system is just faster. It's an automatic thing. And over time, rejection just doesn't hurt. It feels familiar. It feels like home. Your body's like, I know this, I've practiced this, that's mine. Even if it sucks, even if it's not true, and even if you're with someone safe now. So why does this matter? Because it is not just a mindset thing, it's carved into your nervous system. This is a survival wiring. As kids, we needed our caregivers to survive. So we adapted to them, even if they were emotionally unavailable, critical, overly anxious, or inconsistent, and didn't give us all of the things we needed as a kid. So that's why chaos feels like home, calm feels foreign, ignored feels familiar, being adored feels overwhelming. So now you recreate these dynamics now in your romantic relationships, not because you're broken, but because your body is trying to protect you by sticking to the same script it knows. Just like rich kids stay rich because wealthy feels normal to them. Yes, they have all the resources, it's much easier for them, but also because it's normal. It's what they always were used to. People with an anxious attachment style stay in cycles of abandonment because it feels normal too. If they had parents in codependent patterns, this is also what feels normal to them. The other day, we walked Maya, our dog, on the road, and there was a girl who looked at our dog, and she's a husky, a little bit bigger and brown, and the girl's eyes were opening up and she was smiling when she saw our dog. And the mother, as soon as she came closer, she like jumped and completely was scared of the dog, of Maya. And a second later, then her daughter jumped as well. This proves that first the daughter was completely like in awe about Maya, and only because the mother had this fearful reaction about our dog, this transferred onto her daughter. So it's really important to, make sure to check your own behaviors, to heal your own wounds and fears, so you don't transfer this onto your kids as well, onto your own environment. And that's also the beauty about healing yourself, because you can create such a huge and beautiful ripple effect on your own kids or people who you live with. Because yes, you can't heal them, but it still creates such a big change for them, especially if it's your kids. And this also proves like why people just can't choose better. They can't just choose a healthier or better partner, even though I see so many people always say, never choose an avoidant attached partner, just break up and choose someone else, someone better. So many people say that. I see that on YouTube comments all the time, on Reddit, and clients come to me and always kind of whisper, should I just break up with my partner and just go for someone else? And I'm like, Yeah, sounds simple, but that's not the solution, unfortunately. You could just do that, but even if someone screams green flags and securely attached, and if they say, hey, I am securely attached, long term is not the answer. You will be always attracted to the avoidant attached partner. That is what you're familiar with. That's what you're attracted to. Your subconscious has to rewire first in order to be with a secure partner. Because fun fact is, even if you're being with a secure partner, you can actually change their nervous system too. If you're very anxious, that secure person, if they're unaware of their patterns, they can actually shift into more avoidant behaviors. So, neuroscience of emotions and manifestations actually says emotions are not just a result of our thoughts, they are part of how your brain learns. So when you feel an emotion strongly and repeatedly, your brain creates then neural pathways, a shortcut. And the stronger the emotion is, the deeper the pathway becomes. The faster you will manifest something, the faster you will create the results, for the good and for the worse. If you've been through traumatic experiences, like let's say your parents had a really bad breakup or divorce, this will create not just an impact for your parents' nervous system, but for yourself as well. This can then make a difference in your future relationships. So emotions and repetitions can really make a huge difference for how you manifest and how fast you manifest. Emotions are like a magnet. Your thoughts direct your ass, but your emotions fuel your manifestation because your subconscious speaks in emotions, not logic. So when you feel I always get abandoned, and it comes with panic and grief and fear, it filters your world to prove it to be true. Always. Again, your reticular activating system is always trying to prove your beliefs to be true. If you believe you're not good enough, it will always find proof for that. So this is why manifestation without emotion is not possible. Like, if you tell yourself all of these positive affirmations, but you're not actually believing it, if you're telling yourself, oh, you're beautiful, you're amazing, people will never leave you, and you don't believe any of this, it won't work. Emotions without awareness equals chaos as well. So emotion with conscious thoughts, and this is how you manifest and rewire your nervous system and your subconscious mind. For example, when you repeat affirmations and belief statements like, I am loved, but you feel unlovable, your body actually wins. And something extremely important is also, again, our environment we grew up. And that means you can't change the past, but you can change the present. So while you maybe can't change how your parents raised you, or the TV shows you were introduced, or the books you've been introduced when you were little, you can now change your environment. Environment really, really matters on how you manifest. Let me give you some examples of how powerful and important it is, the environment we grew up, and how we can then change it to our advantage to manifest secure, healthy, fulfilling love. Let's say if your mom did yoga 5 times a week, your chances are high you've explored wellness in some kind of shape or form. If your mom stood up for herself, left toxic relationships, and prioritizes self-care, you likely learned that boundaries and self-worth is normal and it's a standard. Or if you grew up with a family of performers, think about actors and singers, often their kids step into something very similar. It's not just they have the possibilities and the tools and the connections, they also know it's actually possible. And the belief alone is extremely powerful, besides the vitamin B. Or if your parents yelled at you constantly, calm conflict might feel unnatural. For example, I grew up in a very calm household. Mostly, I think maybe at the end when my parents broke up and then got a divorce later on, they probably had some arguments, which kind of triggers me. But here now, living in Sicily, being around Italians, where they have a very enthusiastic style of communicating. They are interrupting each other quite a lot of times, at least the people who I am around at the moment. They're having a very increased noise level, and that's very unfamiliar for me. It's very triggering, and it took me a long time to get used to it. Every time when I'm in a longer 30, 60-minute conversation with anyone, or when I'm in an environment of a lot of Italians, I have to have a lot of time for myself before and afterwards. Otherwise, my nervous system gets completely overwhelmed, not just because I'm not familiar with it, also because I'm very highly sensitive. So just because I'm not used to it. However, if I would be a baby and born in this kind of environment, this is something I would crave and miss probably if I would move somewhere where it's extremely quiet. Or let's say if you grew up on takeouts and sugars, and suddenly cooking veggies and might be some completely foreign for you. Doesn't mean it's not possible, but the chance that you will always crave this kind of food is much more likely. Or if your friends always gossip and judge, kindness might feel a little bit fake to you. Or if your parents were never really validating and never confirming verbally to you anything, they were never saying, I'm proud of you, you can do this, might feel very weird to you, and you will never be someone who affirms and uses words of affirmation as your love language. So in short, the environment matters so much and wires your brain. And this is saying you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most of your time with, something like this. And that is so true. And while we can't go back to the past and change your childhood, you can change now what you're exposed to yourself now. So what does it mean? So how does this look like? How can you manifest in these ways? First, look at your 5 closest friends, really. Do they feel safe and loving and supporting? Or do they feel more like drama, chaos? Are they very judgmental? Are they always gossiping? Do they feel like negativity? Then what are you watching before bed? Uplifting shows or trashy TV dramas that also influences how you think, how you feel, what are you exposed to? Do your conversations lift you up, or do they keep you low and spiraling and overthinking? How is your social media feed? This concept doesn't just involve people in your everyday life. For me, it's also extremely important the online contact and the things we consume every day. So social media is a huge influence. I am not on TikTok anymore. I maybe 10 minutes a week or a month I'm checking for research, and that's it. Same as on Instagram. I'm really hardly consuming, if then I'm only creating. So rather create more than you consume. If you consume, do something that's actually good for your soul, maybe educational content, something that really brings you joy or fulfillment, or that lifts you up, that sparks joy inside you, or pushes you to the next level, not something that's triggering you. If you have relationship anxiety, don't watch wedding vows, don't watch these overly romanticized couples who are all fake and don't show the ups and downs and only show the ups. If your co-workers are draining and not supportive of you, don't go out with them after work. Try to focus your lunch hour on going for a walk and focus more on the people who are actually uplifting. You don't have to cut out everyone in your life, but you have to focus your energy more on the people who are actually bringing more to your life rather than taking away from your energy. And mostly spend time with people who model healthy, secure relationships. This can be in friendships or romantic relationships. You are normalizing healthy, secure love by being around it. So are the people around you feeding your anxiety or making you feel grounded and loved and uplifted? And this stuff matters because you're always manifesting. Ask yourself, what am I normalizing today? And what do I want to make my new normal tomorrow? Another thing you need to know about manifestation is every action you take in your relationship starts with an emotion, not logic, not lists of red flags, not your best friend's advice, but a felt experience. So that gut level swirl of fear, hope, or panic or shame. Again, this is how it works. Your thoughts create your emotions create your actions, and then your actions create your results. Remember the speak model, right? This is part of it. For example, you think they're pulling away. I must have done something wrong. And then you feel panic. What you do is then you text 6 times to check if they're mad. And then what you get, the result that you manifested, is they pull back harder, confirmed your own fear. Another example is you think I'm too much, they will leave. You feel shame and fear. What you do is then you shrink, you stop expressing your needs, and so on. And what you get, the end result, is connection that feels shallow, lonely. See how this plays out? It's not about acting all chill. It's about healing your thoughts and feelings to drive your patterns on a loop. Because if your emotions are stuck in fear mode, your actions will reflect that too. And even if you say you want secure love, you will keep pushing it away without meaning to. So a quick reframe. If you want different results, don't change your actions to manifest anything in life. Change your emotions to drive your actions. And of course, start with your thoughts as well. So which means rewire the belief that says you're too much, soothe your nervous system that is bracing to be left, and then choose new thoughts like, I'm safe to be seen fully. I don't have to hustle for love. Truth. And then it's much easier to take aligned actions. And a mini tip from me is take already baby mini steps aligned with these beliefs and emotions. Don't just say, oh, but Yula said I have to wait until I actually feel it. No. You can take the big actions that when you feel ready for it, like gradual exposure therapy. That's how you start attracting love that matches your healed state. And next thing you need to know is vision boards don't work without alignment. So you can't just cut out pictures from your magazine and expect your life to change. You need clarity on what you actually want. Like, I want love that feels safe, not stressful. Believe you can have it, like I'm worthy of calm, steady love. Nervous system safety to receive it, like feeling grounded, not anxious. And boundaries to protect it, like no more answering texts late at night. No more chasing 3 times in a row. And habits that support it, like I pause before reacting to jealousy. What misalignment might look like is you want secure love, but keep checking in if they have seen your last text, or you say yes to plans even when you feel drained. You tolerate ghosting, hoping they will change. You ignore your gut to avoid conflict. You scroll toxic X on social media, stirring your old wounds. The results? Your brain thinks this is all your normal. You manifest stress, heartbreaks, and self-doubt. And that is the self-fulfilling prophecy we're talking about. Your actions must align with your visions. So instead, flip the script. How would a secure couple or person react? They trust instead of double-checking their text. They say no when they need rest or space, or when they mean no. They communicate clearly and expect respect. They protect their emotional energy like gold. They focus on what feels good, not what triggers anxiety. So let's take some baby steps to align with your new beliefs and emotions. So tonight, baby, notice when you check their messages out of anxiety. Pause and take 3 deep breaths. Practice saying, I can check their messages, but maybe in a few minutes' time. And take a deep breath and say, I am okay. I can reassure myself. I am fine. You can put a hand on your heart and just notice the connection you have with yourself. Tell yourself the things you wish your partner would text you. Give yourself the thing you are chasing from other people. Because in the end, we all want is just to feel an emotion. And we can create this emotion within ourselves. And then you can always reach out to them later. All we want to do is delay the gratification. Delay the dopamine hit. You can also journal one way you showed up for yourself with kindness today. You want to collect the data that you are able to stick up for yourself, that you are able to be there for yourself. Data over dopamine. Replace 5 minutes of scrolling your ex social media with reading or taking a walk or calling even a friend. Visualize yourself as a calm, confident partner you want to be. Feel that peace in your body. You can do this with using ChatGPT as your visualization guide, or checking on YouTube if there are any visualization for that, or just journaling out your ideal day on your journal. Read it out loud, record it to yourself as a voice note and listen to it before bed and in the morning. And ask, what's one small boundary I can set today that honors my self-worth? When did I last show myself the love that I crave? How does my nervous system feel when I imagine a calm, safe relationship? By the way, I've just realized this is going much longer than expected, so I will create a part 2 where I will talk about 3 things only. But 1 is the identity shifts that will really help you to manifest. 2 is how to manifest really fast, and knowing it's not about the method how you manifest, it's all about when you manifest actually. And 3 is my manifestation formula. Yes, see you soon. Don't miss out on this. Check out the free resources in the free attachment library. Remember, change in your relationship starts with you, thought by thought, action by action, and now episode by episode. Lots of love, Yula. Bye bye.